All right, we're back in. Yeah, so Tina Tank, that's who it was. Tina Tank. Yeah, she yeah, we, you know, even helping people in, and they do you low, straight do low you. You know what I'm saying? That's normal. It's normal. So stand in line, I guess. Stand in line, and or put in the extra, read all about it, and you don't have to stand in that line. You know, you don't have to stand in that line with everybody doing the normal process of things. If I go the opposite way, and then go solo. You know, that's what I would suggest. It's just working out for me anyway. Actually, it's always worked out. Because everybody's just different. That's one thing Dwayne Cole did say, at the job, when I was handing everybody out, the names and everything. He said, everybody's different. Everybody's, you're right. But at the same time, to know thyself is the whole thing. And that's what I was just, hey. And I was just the people that, that vibe with me and that talk with, you know what I'm saying? And hey, everybody got weirded out. Especially when I got to Ha, because Ha was was the E, in Ethiopia, and the Hey in in Ivrit. So she freaked out. If I was to know the meaning of her name, oh my goodness, because she took it. She took the name, the letter, and everything. Ha, because spirit. It really is spirit. It really, it's everything, really. But if you see it in the form, you'd be able to follow the trail. You see it in the form, and that's what freaked her out. She said, no, and this girl right here, I'm talking about, was so docile, and her spirit was like beautiful and shit. I'm just talking about like, wow. So it really freaked me out. It freaked her out. Instead, he used to bring in green drinks, and she would be waiting. She was, "Do you got any more? You got any more?" And she didn't speak a whole lot either. So when she said that, I was like, cool, okay, that turned her on. That turned her on. She liked that. I like, okay, so I make sure I bring it in. If for nobody else, for her then. Because sometimes they sat inside there and went bad, but most of the time, they did go ahead and get it, drink it on up and everything, So, another person that I read I listened to the cast, I'm not going to say podcast, the podcast. I don't know why I can't get that word out of my head right now. Your post, your posting everything. Your channel. That's what it is. Your channel. Another person that listened to the channel, something that I hadn't done in a while, and that's because of a couple of reasons. But either way, I always go back to check and see, hey, did I see something wrong? What was going on there? You know what I'm saying? But when it's time to change, like as what's Lady Walkevi has said, your algorithm, it's just time to go. And sometimes it's abruptly, and things will trigger you, whether you right or wrong, and that's what happens, Except for everybody who signs that contract and rock together, you know what I'm saying? They got to go ahead and attend. Matter of fact, attend. There's a lot of those things are you win, we win. Simple as that. I think what's her name, Lulu Becca is on a you win we win team, like with the pink ladies, you know, because the reason why I had said sayonara to her, and she was open, for my I would choose to look at hers and post them, quite a while for a while, but it was too much of the bitch shit. What I mean by that is like uh, I like kind of more like facts and shit, and that's the reason why I was I messed with what's her name, Rusty Dawn. It's short, you know, and even though Rusty Dawn, I don't necessarily want a Rusty Dawn. You know what I'm saying? I actually want to go ahead and have a sunny, full-on sun. You know. Anyways, so I listened to Lady Bronwyn, and so she's there in Sri Lanka, and that's what I was saying with because I went into the Braun, the same family. It's the same family that she married into, uh, Maya. Same family, that produces well, they're not the root, but they're part of the whole brown thing, the whole brown thing, in which the Bronclear is killing motherfuckers with the cough syrup, and it's more strong over there, more addicting, to the music business, Brown tea, where whoever she married into, most of the time, who knows, maybe she was sipping some of that cough syrup too, you know what I'm saying? And going out to these parties and everything too, which is, hey, it's part of it, because I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I've been in it, been inside the whole little brainer, so I know what you're saying, and it'd be fun. It'd be fun. It has its days, and it has its nights though too. Ooh wee, it has its nights. Matter of fact, just GP was like, the ex-wifey, first one. She was actually a stripper, so we used to go ahead and then when I worked at Bogart's, she would actually go ahead and come over with her girls, or either meet up at a certain place, and so it'd be like, all of these, supposedly quote unquote beautiful women and everything, you know what I'm saying, and hanging out with the guys and stuff like that, and then everybody break off even further into your, other echelons between that, and then go to different parties, and those were invited to certain places. Some people went. Those who weren't, didn't go. Then they had their own little clique too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that, and everywhere. But what I was listening to Lady Bronwyn with is that the ironic. This is ironic. The ironic in it is that, with the mata, and I know that came from Eddie, or she heard it inside of the lyrics, the lyrics that I had said before, okay? To go ahead and look it up and then come up with it, And it can come to anybody. I'm not tripping on that at all. It's not owned by anyone. It's there for everybody to take, for the taking and the making, to make something out of it. So, but how it came to me was simply, again, knowing thyself. That's how it came to me. you know. And what I mean by that is, and knowing myself, I went to look up my name, you know, in every single place that there is, even a closeness to it, resemblance of it. And that's when I came across, and I showed you the book already. I started with DEVIR, okay? I started with DEVIR. And that's how I ended up there over inside of Sanskrit, you know, inside of India. Because of Devi, you know, Devi the meaning. And see, the thing with Devi is like, so it's just one letter off, you know, or the addition to from Devi, which is a mother goddess, right? Mata, root. Devi, one letter off, you can go to Devir, meaning the most holy of holies, okay? Or you can go to devil. It's just one letter off. That's how powerful that shit is. But the root of it is feminine. So if you can follow me on that, that's the reason why I said, or that's the reason why today, you know what I'm saying? Even on the I Ching, and this is how I like to say it. It's when Job 8:8 says, go out and search out their fathers. If you know what's inside of yours, then you go out and search out theirs. You know? So that's what I went ahead and did. And so even in today's postings, like I put in, you know, one was that of the number 7, the army, right? And then number 8, coming together. Okay? And so what happened was the only yin line, the only yang line, okay? And every single one of them was feminine, was yin lines. So that's 5 yin lines and only 1 yang line for the army. The base of it is a yin line, open, and then there's a yang line, solid all the way through. And I was told to go ahead and center yourself around that right there, and then, and that's a yang, that's the masculine, even within yourself or within the male, okay, actual male, okay, and then follow that through, you know, and that person is appointed, whether it be masculine or female, male or female. That's the divinity. That's what I'm talking about. Is appointed for that right there. Okay, and that's for the army. But we don't want to necessarily be in army mode all the time, right? So then the next one is holding together. And as the lady stated on there, okay, it's only 1 yang line. But this time the trigram is at the top. And the 5th line is the only yang line. And the lady said at the beginning, now all these people down here, so this is pretty much, if we go back to male and female, this is all women at the bottom, bottom 4 lines. That's 4. Even you can say yod hey wah hey, 4 fucking lines. Okay? The bottom 4 lines. Matter of fact, as I speak on it right now, this is crazy because I've been peeked on different pages and everything. And I checked on Aya, you know, Process 22 channel, her Process 22 channel, and you know it's about the same. It's about the same. She got piercings in, and you know I wasn't even looking. I mean, I looked at everything really quick, and it's about the same. You know, not much growth, but she's being consistent. It looks like, you know, that's good. You know, consistency of whatever, you know. So, and then I checked it on Miss Cece, and what I saw with Miss Cece was is what the like I said when I started talking about Maya or putting her, that she had switched her background to the tiger. You know what I mean? She switched her background to the tiger. And then when I went and looked at it right now, she's in purple. And as I was talking about the lines, I was talking about the trigram and the fourth line. Okay, well then she's in purple and she's holding up 4 fingers and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, she finally, just said, "Fuck, okay, I'm busted. I'm just gonna go ahead and be who it is, about who I am." CC, Ashes, Ashe, and I'm in. Fuck it. and that shit right there, I can respect some shit like that. I can respect that shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Confirmation. He can too. He filled out on that shit. He can respect that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though, yeah, no, you can respect that. So what I was saying is, so that fourth line, that's all yang. Yin lines. Okay, so you got trigram of 3 and 1 more. So that 5th line again is a yang line. That's masculine. And so when she got to that point right there, she said, and I would put it inside of what's her cousin good, cousin good, cousin good with Linda, cousin good Linda. She said those 4 lines up to that point right there. Well, actually, she only stated at 3 because the top trigram was a part of another trigram. She says so those 3 lines was basically a bunch of gaggling bitches and hoes and shit. Why? Because no one was solid. No one was solid going through. They might have had a foundation and everything, they're themselves, and they might even have things, They might be a lady that has her own thing, you know what I'm saying? And her shit is together, but they're not unified. And so therefore, just like here on these streets, everybody, like I said, we look at these gang walls, they live right next to each other and funking over motherfucking their territory. Whether it be madruga against madruga, every 6 houses away, and then this still happens over here. So even within every 6 houses away, it's going to be the madruga, the mama. I think it's going to be the same thing with the mama san. Okay, because you got churches and you got massage parlors too. All right, so every 6 fucking blocks, there's going to be one in charge of them. So, but Kusalama, who's over all everybody, because you signed the bond. You signed the James Bond fucking contract to fucking come over here and help to supplant the real motherfuckers. Okay? You signed the James fucking Bond contract. So we don't have to go ahead, or even if it's my family, I can say we, because it's my family. And the disagreeable ones. Okay? We don't have to have every 6 houses. We can go ahead and spread it to every 10 houses. 193 on the clock, 1903 on the clock. And that is Kusalama. And that right there is again going to be, depending on where you at, it's still going to be, whether it's miles, okay, and whether it'll be adjusted and everything. And the center point is actually going to be the post office. Okay, so wherever the post office is at, that's going to be the motherfucking center point, because the Postmaster General really run motherfucking everything. All right? All right. So, and even if you got to send packages, little packages, big packages, you got to come, hey, you got to come through. Everybody got to come through that. You know what I'm saying? And so basically, like she said, the lady said in the reading of coming together, come together right now over me, dun dun dun, over. See, it was only he didn't say over us, it said over me. Why is that? Because who was that? That was really uh, who it really is Kaun. I mean, it's not Kaun. It's the firstborn son, Shin, Chen, however you want to pronounce it. His firstborn son. And what happens is he's the first yang line. Okay, he's the first yang line, and of course he got the two yin lines on top of him for his trigram. And so he is the one that goes ahead and incites movement. He incites movement and so forth, whether it be masculine or feminine. It doesn't necessarily matter. If the firstborn son is actually doing that, and that can and or be, if you're balanced, you're going to be that. And if you're feminine, you're going to be that lightning also. You're going to be the lightning and the sun of increase. We have a sun of decrease over there in the I Ching also. Okay, that's number 42. The number 37, assume, is going to be that of increase. Okay? I believe, I might be wrong. 22 on the clock. And so the reason why I said all that right now is this. Even as I did go ahead and share that song more than a couple of times, the Mata, even with the root, where it came from, and I even read from it a little bit. Read from it for you. And it was some personal deep shit that I have to even go back and look at again. Like I was stating today. Or yesterday, was it? And as Lady Bronwyn was stating, and was blowing me out the water, because we do travel in circles, and we call in whatever energy that it is that we're supposed to have or need. But we have it already. We just have to go ahead and look at it differently, because we have everything. We came into this room right here, we have everything. We just have to look at it a different perspective, period. All right? So what had happened was, she was explaining, to whatever degrees, how Maya was actually going through things and feeling, this and that, and just giving some caveats for me, or for whoever. I'm not going to say it, take it personally, for whomever, because it's happening to a lot. Everything's going through all of us chosen ones right now. Again, like what Lady Walkevi has said, we are growing right now, but it's not necessarily in stature and height. This is right here is the thickening, so you can actually stand rooted when the winds blow. That's what this is. So that's the reason why, it's kind of a turbulent, and you like, oh, it's not so much of a it's not so much of like a growth spurt like of that. Now, what happens is, when we do go ahead and have this thickening, what it is we're going down. We're going down to the soul, to the sun and the center of the earth. And that right there is really, even though we're going down, okay? And you know how you go up in the air and mountains and everything, you got to pop your ears? It's even 20 times and worse and everything, because even the gravity pull, okay? We're going against the gravity because gravity is set up at a certain place, especially since we've been hit at a 23-degree angle. Gravity is set at a certain place. So even, you know, as we're going through whatever inside of our body, inside of our spirit, all that is connected to where, you know, it's gonna feel even more weight. So that right there itself is thickening. It's thickening as opposed to the ascension. But yet when we get past a certain point inside, as we're going digging in, we're digging in, just like we go in and dig for diamonds or whatever and everything, you know what I'm saying? And it seems like, maybe, I don't know if this is process, but the further you get, you know, the end and everything, that maybe that diamond is a little bit bigger, okay? Maybe you have to dig a little bit more around it and everything, all that type of shit. You know, so these are the hurts, and these are the, not just our own. Because remember, this is 14 generations of stuff. 14 generations, and you're going in your leg, you're going in your fingertip, you're going in each freaking part of your whole soul. Everything that the soul is giving life to, that's what's going on. We're going inside of each vessel. And so all of that right there is the reason why it's a thickening as opposed to the normal ascension of going up into a plane. And that's what I was doing too when I wrote that. I was exactly at the same fucking place where she said Maya is at. And that was a rehab, okay? Now I was put there because I got a DUI, and I ain't gonna lie, I was cocky like a motherfucker. You know, at that point in time, I was flip-flopping every damn way. And I told him, I was like, look, man, I ain't drunk. You know, and I hit a flip and hit it on and landed on the motherfucking line, on the line in the parking lot where he said. And he said, I don't care, come over here and let me give you that breathalyzer. Gave me the breathalyzer, and I just said, dude. So that's what I got a DUI for, okay? That's the reason why I was there, and I was in the military, you know? So that's the brown folder of it you see right there. And my opening line is like, I remember reading that at one point in time. It was like, fucking, I don't even belong in this shit. I don't even know why I'm here, you know? I could take care of this shit myself, you know, and all of that. All of that from the opening lines was my whole beginning of that whole journal. That was 1987. And so it's like a spiral in the thing. Why? Because of the name, Devi, and the Devere, and Mata. All that right there was grasped about the same freaking time. About the same freaking time, okay? The depthness of it came a little bit later when I opened up and, you know, really started getting, you know, turning the pages of the sages of the ages, basically. And so that's when I came across Mata, you know? And every job you come through, or every job you have, there's a language that you have to learn. And so when you learn the basic languages and everything, and you write them down, and you keep them for, you never know. You never know when you're going to need it again, you know? You might have one of them cat faces and shit, you know what I'm saying? The cat face is inside of the CDF, you know, it's like the wood and everything, you know? And then we actually have this went over the other day too, it was no mix. No Mex. It was, when I first saw the word and everything, it was like no Mexican. That's what I was looking at. It says no Mex, but the no Mex are like the suits and everything that were like fire retardant. Supposedly will help you thermal, you know, so you stay more cooler and everything. That's what a no Mex is. So all these different things like that is how I came to go ahead and to just stacking, you know, put it in your backpack, man. Put it in your fucking backpack. You know? Put it inside your knapsack. You never know what you're gonna fucking need it for. Even if you don't know it, you don't like it, you want to forget every single thing about the fucking job that was or whatever the fuck you did, put it in the backpack. You don't know what you're gonna need it for. You know? And so to hear that again, like, she's there or going through something like that, it hit in a different way, because even when I saw it, honestly, I had imagined, working together. It wasn't even no fucking, I don't know anybody, period. And I'm not, getting married, like I said, on a GP, and not knowing somebody, that seriously take fucking 10 fucking years plus. And that happened again 2 times. Okay? 2 times. So you think, and that was with no money. Okay? So do you really think that anybody's gonna really get up inside of here without it's gonna be longer than 10 years. I tell you that. So I guess that's what prenups are about. They say after a certain amount of time, then the person will get a certain amount of money, what have you not. But I'm not even on that page at all. My thing was simply to be plausibly, work together, because we might have the same, hey, how you doing, brother? Good? All right. We might have the same type of mental, we might have the same type of goals, we might have the same type of, just, and there's nothing to work at. There's nothing to work at. It's just flowing, And so, but if it's not like that, if it's not flowing at this stage in the game, for me, it's not happening. It is not happening. And the only way that's going to be like that, if that person is going all the way down to the bottom, to the pyramid inside of them, to the soul inside of themselves, the inner sun. If that person has done that job and go to see the sun that's inside their whole earth, like their soul, and what's going to take you out there is your other 2 souls. So we got 3 souls right here. You got a soul right here, you got a soul on your right foot, and you got a soul on your left foot. That's 3 suns right there. 3 souls. So we're not in control of those 3 right there. Shit ain't happening. Shit ain't happening. You make your own cloudy day or gloomy day. I don't care what the weather is. Fuck the weather. But you make your own, rain and shine. That's up to you. That's up to each of us. And that's the reason why me and my mom has said, like I said, rise and shine. That's crazy. That's crazy, huh? Rise and shine. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, so like I said, we have to look at all. I'm glad I turned to it, because you have to look at different perspectives on everything. And had she did not, we'll go ahead and honestly get all in blue, and for a couple of them, I really wasn't tripping on a brown win, because that's basically saying the new browns. Okay, WEN is NEW, and that's like the new brown and shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no fucking new brown. Shit. If you still gotta go ahead and you can't take it in the sun, I don't care what color you ain't brown. you ain't brown. Sorry. Sorry. Maybe if you got socked in the eye or in the other eye, for to go ahead and take that staple for a name, then that's something different. But you're not brown. Sorry. That matter of fact, that is a term assigned to that of Nibiru, okay? Nibiru. And what it does is, in order to go ahead and conserve energy. We'll call it, in the science of astrology, I guess, we'll call it a brown dwarf. And because you don't know, it powers down in order to just flow through. But it's not like a white dwarf, I think it's like 1.2 or 1.5, you know what I'm saying? And they don't, the white dwarfs, if they don't fucking nova and turn into a sun, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they don't fucking nova and turn into a sun, that shit dies out. Same thing with the big red giant one. You know, I think it's a 2.5. No, I don't even think it's 2.5. I think it's another one point something on the red. Okay, if they don't fucking turn into a sun, you know, it also, you know, this is little Red Riding Hood. Get it? Okay. If they don't fucking go into a sun, full blown fire, then, you know, it ends up being, and some of them get pretty damn close, you know, and that's represented even inside of the Red Dragon. You said the Red Dragon, which is 616 Prince Charles and Wales, the country of Wales, you know, who actually stuck a little claim in on the mountain that's underneath of Yahai. In order, I got to get the name down again. In order, okay? The land down under. And I think they're in charge of Greenland too for some reason. I don't know why. I think they're in charge of Greenwich, you know, where time is supposedly kept right there, okay? You know, so anyway, so whether it be astronomically going deep, not into the sky, but going deep astronomically, the same word, you know, the same word going the other way. You know why? It is going through even the beginning first letters that they chose in English, ass. It is going in, so that's the reason why they're able to hit from the backside and send motherfuckers. That water's right there. Those are murky waters. So those are murky waters. But evidently, it hits to where, you know, they're able to go ahead and channel from that. Literally channel from that shit. You know? But Ezekiel, I forget what channel. What channel? And I did say channel, but a chapter I meant to say. But I'm gonna keep with channel. Ezekiel, I forget what channel. He went ahead and was told to go ahead and take I don't know if it was his dung or somebody else's dung, and use it to go ahead and cook. And Ezekiel said, and he wasn't talking to the Most High, okay? Because Most High told us to do no shit like that, okay? You know, the Most High says, hey, if you're hungry, don't worry about it. I'll have a bird come to you, like he did Elijah in the cave, okay? He said, don't worry about it. Like it says in the New Testamentality, which is really the Old Testamentality. He said, do you see the lilies of the field and everything? They toil not. And they're the most beautifully dressed. Not even Solomon was arrayed in his days, glory. And they worry not neither what they will eat the next day. For every day is given to them, pretty much paraphrasing something, whatever that's needed. Every day is given what is needed. You know, and sometimes, a lot of times, when we don't necessarily have, you know, food to go inside the body, those times are meant to go ahead and fucking fast. Yeah. And yeah, it's meant to go ahead and fast, you know. So while you're in there, Miss Maya, think about that. Don't even listen to the program type of stuff, you know, because a lot of the time it's repetitious. But I mean, I think you deeper than that, just from what, you know, even living in the dark side, what you've experienced, you know. and even at a high level. So what's so fucking cool as far as like when you get at a high level like that, hey, getting ready to get fucking Grammy and shit, fucking hey, popping motherfucking collar. You know what I'm saying? To a motherfucker want to be a bitch. He wanted to be a bitch now. Okay, okay, because you was really being from Tamil. First of all, your shit carry weight, carry some weight, and a one and only too. That shit was motherfucking damn raw. You know what I'm saying? Like raw, like tiger raw. It was too raw. They said, "Damn, we better go ahead and do something about this one right here, right, Jim?" JC said, "Hey, hit it, yeah, hit it. Let me go get that power, pops. Give me, hit it, pop it, pop it, pop it. Let me get that power." No. So he got that power, and then maybe went to. Nah, I ain't gonna go no further. But he got that power, they said, "Hey, okay, we gotta take it down. We gotta take it down. How we gonna do this now?" So that's all that is. That's all that is. The reason why I say is again, because you're pretty much at that motherfucking premise again right now. And you have a choice to make, especially if you really don't want to get mollywopped. And I mean by not me, I'm talking about like it's really your ancestors and spirit team, because you were chosen to go ahead inside of your family to be where you were and where you are even right now. And what decision you make at this point in time is going to affect a lot of fucking generations to come in the next epoch. Not a fuck epoch. Fuck epoch. We talking about epochs. So, and there's no disrespect with fuck epoch. You know what I'm saying? Epoch. No disrespect. I'm just saying epochs are way better than, and it's not about a Mac, whether it be a Mac, return of the Mac, because that Mac, that shit is Big Mac. Well, Big Mac, hell, everybody got so many motherfucking Macs around. Hell, I hope that shit word is motherfucking erased out the motherfucking damn mental to where we can't even remember no shit like that. Okay? The golden arches of McDonald even, okay? From McDonald to Machiavelli. What the fuck? Okay. And it's because what it is we're not necessarily utilizing our own, but we're tapping into somebody else's established route as opposed to going ahead and being a trailblazer. Being a trailblazer. Even using D's 713, in order to do it. You know what I'm saying? 12 by 13 to get his whole 23 by 23 chessboard. All of that shit. And the reason why he went to get it, do you know how he got it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you figure out how he got it. Because once you find the tilt on the earth, then you just go ahead and you make your board into that tilt. So you go ahead and you make your multiplication to that, and it's simple multiplication. It's not a fucking damn brainiac thing. We made it simple. Now it most definitely, you get to the decimal 100,000 tenths, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But even those decimals and those numbers in between there, those are written laws. They're not, just like we sit up here with pi, 3.14159. We see that right there. That's motherfucking to the lease of the land and everything. I just showed you that shit. So those numbers are not arbitrary. That's the shit that's as a matangi, okay, a gigi, all right, in the right direction, in a yang form, a balanced yin and yang form of not just the trigrams, but this is just for the quadrams that are here, that are utilized. Okay, the quadrams and everything. You know, where they get the quadrant mechanics and everything for, you know? It's the same thing. And so if one is not laced backwards and forward with that type of Shia, and Shia, you know what I'm talking about, right? Shia is the army. Shia. Shihi, okay? Shia, Shihi. You know? Notice it's even feminine, starting with the SH. But the SH is really fire, though. It's really fire, okay? Don't get it twisted. And the E in the English, that's another H, really. So it's really like, shh. Not a lot of motherfuckers supposed to know this shit. But because we're at a different junction right now, Petticoat Junction. We're at the point right now to where, hey, it's a beautiful, beautiful lady, you know? As we walk past the alleys, whether it be Bangkok, Thailand, or Pattaya Beach, or, you know, the red light district in many places, and you gaze inside that window and she looked beautiful as a motherfucker. I mean, she's beautiful, 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 beautiful. She got the lights set up and everything, you know, so fucking beautiful. And then like the homie Carrick in Thailand, in Pattaya Beach, I didn't get to go because I had already fucked up. But when they came back, I told the story. Ooh-wee. You don't know, you know, because again, she was beautiful. It was inside, and all of us inside the club and everything, chilling, grinding and everything. And everybody started slowly waking up like the Matrix and shit. And it's all, well, shit, that motherfucker's Adam apple too damn big. So Carrick was the last motherfucker to wake up. And he didn't believe it either, because she must have been bad. She must have been bad as, whew. His Carrick was good, I mean, strong, and a jarhead for real. I'm talking about, he was a corporal. And so anyway, he really couldn't believe it, so he started to slip his hand up underneath the dress. And she pushes it down and everything, you know? And she started to slid up there again, you know what I'm saying? Kissing and everything too, you know? Now she puts two hands down and shit. This is the story recanted exactly the way it fucking recanted, okay? And so even when people come and tell you stories, it's fucking with reason. And so he goes ahead and then he just puts his hand up there real fast to find out. She whipped out a butterfly knife. Notice I flipped it to she. Flipped out a fucking butterfly knife and cut it from here to here. Just like that. He said, "Nigga, don't you ever take one motherfucking shit. Nigga." So, oh my gosh. And so I don't know what he told his wife. But anyway, we're at that preface right now to where, you know, hey, believe none of what you see. Don't believe nothing what you see, and only half of what you hear, you know? And then dream on that, you know? Put that into the dream works. I wouldn't put no dream catcher on your head. Fuck all, that's some Indian shit. They're catching your dreams, is what they're doing, you know? Even the material they fucking will use. They're catching your dreams on that shit. Listen to it. They're catching your dreams, all right? That's from the That's from the Tamil. You know, all this stuff right here came out from Tamil first. And so, if you are of that lineage and you know it, you have a lot of ancestors that have done some fucked up shit. And so you're that person to go ahead and even correct that shit. Why? Because, especially being a female, okay? Now the male can do it, as you're seeing over here, in a masculine form. But a female, to correct that shit, oh my goodness. Do you know how much love your ancestors gonna fucking have for you? All right? You know, if you sign up for the whole side, the other side, then you signed up. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying the opposite right now, just in case. Just in case. You know, you think about it, because if you in that rehab, you know, going through the motion with a lot of that bullshit, you know, sneaking out like I did, you know, even hitting the officer's wife that was sitting there. She was she was a petty officer. But it's okay, officer. Yeah. You know, she was in there too. You know, even doing all kinds of, you know, you can find the best shit inside of a rehab. Really. If you really, really want to. You know what I'm saying? And come home and get your rest. And, you know, so that's kind of like you rehabilitated a little bit, you know. But I want to go ahead again. The abstinence on the sex, and, you know, work on your inside, work on the, like I said, because you're going in deep. It's not like we're going up high, we're going in deep. It's scuba diving gear, but yet you still got a fucking rocket ship, because this is NASA. NASA is in the motherfucking water. Fuck that shit. We already know. You know? I already know. All right? So, you know, that right there is prompted by Lady Bronwyn, so we'll go ahead and give her some thanks. She really ain't, you know, trying to, you know, I don't even think she gonna listen to this shit. Say that shit ain't gonna work. I don't give a fuck. She really don't, you know, have no faith. Me myself, it doesn't necessarily matter to me either. You know, everybody has their choice to make. All I'm doing is what I'm instructed to fucking do and say. That's it. You know. And like I said, I have three other songs, or at least two other songs. A total of 3, maybe 4 total songs. It's fucking got all fucking India in it. So you know, but the motherfucker copy off my shit, I give us a flying fuck. You know, it wasn't gonna necessarily be the name of my album, but all of the fucking lyrics, all that whole context of Mata with the purple, that shit is right the fucking there. So that was, you know, that's some weirdo shit. That's some weirdo shit. You know? And especially I know who the weirdo motherfucker you probably got that shit from. Especially if you really got lyrics. You know, don't get me wrong, I know I spoke him right there. But that's Eddie's motherfucking ass. And Eddie, he a weirdo too. You know, don't get me wrong. The motherfucker played the shit out that fucking guitar. Which, you know, I would go ahead and come to think about it. As you saw, my purple thing said guitar material. Eddie, who wrote the music portion to Born to the Purple, is that of a guitarist. So being that the dude got at you and said you're not a musician, also split your mind up to go ahead and get into the musician portion of music. So nobody ever fucking come at you that way again. Nobody, you can put them, check that motherfucker right there in the chin check that motherfucker. You know, if I have your shit portable, say, what you say? You know what I'm saying? Carry you a little small keyboard in the back or whatever the fuck, you know. I said, break out like Prince if that's the case, you know what I'm saying? Shit. But check that motherfucker. Don't let them motherfucker get at you like that, you know. But again, that requires some fucking work. That requires some work. So you know, and don't do no bloody fucking sacrifices either for the shit. That's what I'm saying. Make that shit clean. It's fruits, water. You know, and your actions and your words. Those are the libations. Those are the libations of giving right there. You know, jawbone fucking credit. But shit, it don't exist no more. Yeah, everybody want collateral like a motherfucker, and believe me, I'm not even taking collateral. Fuck that. You can keep your shit. I'm not tripping. Because think about it. With me, everybody and their mama know what the hell I done did. I even got out of prison. When I got out of prison and got my first 10,000 too. You know, well, first thing I gave, like I say, what do you call it? What, 1,500 or 2,000? No, I think I gave them 1,500 or maybe 2,000 to my parents when I got out, when they saved my